It is much brighter out than I had anticipated. I'm not sure if I can actually look at the camera. I don't know that I can. It's unfortunate.
Hello,
We are
Annie and Konstantin.
and you're watching another episode of...
Updates.
This is a very special episode of Updates because, first of all, Konstantin and I are in separate spaces, so we are transcending time and space to bring you these updates. And then also, I am back to, recording myself out in public for updates. But not only that, no, I'm also being watched by Grandma right now. This week, we took the week off, mostly because I am way overdue for a visit to the homeland, so I drove across Germany to eastern Germany to Saxony-Anhalt to visit Oma and, hang out here for a little while. Meanwhile, Konstantin is back in Stuttgart working hard at editing the Depression Anxiety Life Hacks episode 2, which he will have done very soon, and I'm working on the doobly-doo and all the good stuff, so it's about to come out and I'm super excited because this is gonna be a good one. This is another big step, and the quality is so much better than it was before, and I just really like progress.
Besides that, I continued researching for my master thesis, though not as in-depth as I wanted to. I think I will focus the next weeks mainly on researching for my thesis and conceptualizing the crowdfunding campaign, while Anne is probably maybe going to write the bulk of the remaining Depression Anxiety Life Hacks episodes. So after the crowdfunding campaign, we could theoretically basically start shooting and get it out as quickly and as efficiently as possible. But returning to this week, Anne's and my mutual friend Juliane, who gave us the opportunity to talk about Konstitutionelle Anarchie on her radio show, interviewed me for a student project regarding the future of the workplace and the way we are going to approach work. So in a couple of weeks there should be a video of me advertising the shit out of Konstitutionelle Anarchie on YouTube, and when the time is due I will provide you with the link.
So, Epiphanies.
So in the wake of that interview, this week's Epiphany has to do something with work. The title of that student project is Work 4.0, which hints that there has been a progression in the way work works, starting with the hunters and gatherers, going to Middle Ages and then to the Industrial Revolution, where a lot of the manual labor was replaced by machines, but at the same time a lot of new jobs were created, maintaining those machines and harvesting the fuel and the energy for those machines. And we are at the wake of another shift in the way basically whole humanity deals with the job of keeping the humanity alive. Because with automatization and computerization, a lot of small tasks aren't necessary anymore. I think in 10 or 20 years' time, there won't be that much demand for cab drivers or for clerks. And also, I'd say low administrative tasks. They will all go away because computers can compute much better those things. And the question is, what will happen after that? Because it is a fact, there will be less jobs. And the idea of the basic income gets more and more traction in the last months with the referendum in Switzerland, for instance, where people vote on whether or not finding a way to implement a basic conditionless income for everyone. Because in the end there will, for the foreseeable future, only be jobs that need humans, the emotional connectedness, the creativity, the heart and soul of humans. Because everything else, let's be honest, machines can do better. And this frees up potential. But it's of course also a danger, because there has to be such a great shift in the whole economy, in the whole way we think about work and life and the purpose of humanity, if you want. And such big cultural shifts, they never go without humanitarian costs. I would like to, somehow point back to us, as in what we do with Konstitutionelle Anarchie, but honestly I can't, because we're also this tiny, tiny, tiny part of this whole wave that has been moving, but it gets momentum. And when it crashes, when things like less jobs will affect more and more people, which will happen. No one knows what's going to happen, so we need to fortify ourselves, as in connect with each other and talk to each other. So everyone is aware of the fact that this is coming. This is going to be, and this is going to be in our lifetime. And I don't know how or what the best way is to prepare for that. But I think thinking about it and talking about it and voicing your opinion, voicing your thoughts is a good way to start.
So, Epiphanies. I drove across Germany here a couple of days ago with a very good playlist and, just my own company. And it was profoundly enjoyable, which is really, really nice. Because it doesn't happen often that my mind is very good company to itself. And it doesn't happen often that I'm just perfectly content in a moment of, being by myself. But usually when that happens, I'm driving and listening to good music. Anyway, what I was thinking about was progress, again, in the whole mental health context. And the thing is that there's this notion that you heal, you recuperate, you get over something, and we just kind of expect that to be a flash. Like, you're bad, and then you're not. This is what we expect from a good cold, really. Like, it goes away, but then there's this moment where it's just gone and you're fine again. And we expect that from serious illness, too. You take the drugs, you get that operation, and then you're fine again. And that's not how it works. That's never been how it works. But with mental health especially, it's really, really tricky because you keep going back and forth. And I always had this notion of this veil of depression, of anxiety that clouds your vision. I always liked that idea because, first of all, externalizes it, and then also just gives you that notion that it can be flipped up and then you'll be fine again. And there were so many moments over the last year where I felt like I lifted the veil, but then realized that I wasn't quite there yet. Like, lifted a little, but not totally. And I think what it comes down to is the fact that there is not one veil, there's like 100 of them. There's so many veils. And with any little bit of progress you do, you flip up one more. And then, there's a mean breeze comes in and flips a bunch of them back in front of your face and you can't see things again. And it's really frustrating, but you know what it looks like when a few more of them are gone. So it's easier to get rid of them again. And I feel like I am finally nearing a point where I am not perfect by any means, but I have enough veils removed that I can see fairly clearly, and I can kind of see how close I am to being fully, perfectly happy, functional, great. And I don't think I'll ever get there, at least not for a really long time. But I'm okay with that. Because I have fought my way to this level of clarity. And I know it'll go away again, and I know I'll struggle again, but I know how to get back to here because I've been here before. I know what to look for a little better now. And that just makes it so much easier. So in the course of, publishing the Depression Anxiety Life Hacks episode 2, it's nice to finally feel like I'm not hardcore struggling myself while I'm telling you how to, make life a little easier. I think it's hard to think of illness as a binary sort of state. Getting better is not flipping a switch. It's a long process, and you get to a point where you're more good than you're bad. And I think that's probably usually the point where we look up and say, hey, I'm fine, I'm better. And that's good, but it's also kind of a lie, because you're not better yet. You're still struggling, and you still have a ways to go. But you've already accomplished a lot, and you've logged that accomplishment, and you know how to get back to fine when it goes bad again. And that's the sort of thing that's moving me this week, that's inspiring me this week, that's exciting me this week, because I'm good. Spring is coming, and things are coming together, and I can taste happiness again, and I like it.
So in a search for a nice spot to do my epiphany, I've stumbled upon a nest. Well, somebody's gotta have omelette for dinner. And it's not me, because I'm quasi-vegetarian. But I'm sure somebody will have omelette for dinner, because someone somewhere always has omelette for dinner. Hello!